Hi, I'm Joseph Hoffman, and this is part 2 of my 3-lesson series on playing The Entertainer by Scott Joplin. In this lesson, we'll be learning the B section of The Entertainer. Let's get started by checking out the score. As we talked about last time, the rhythms are so important to get the style of this ragtime piece correct. So I highly encourage you to take the time to write in the counts, pretending like you're in 4/4, like this. I got the first 2 measures started for you. Now pause the video and on your own go through the B section and write in the counts, then press play and we'll check out the rhythms together. I didn't write in the counts for every measure, but I did write the counts in for a few places I wanted to practice together. Let's start right here at the second ending, which leads us out of the A section into the B section. And I'd like you to clap or tap while we count the beat out loud. I'll count 4 beats, and let's focus on the right-hand part up here in treble staff. I'll count 4 beats, count out loud with me, and let's clap the rhythm. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And let me pause you. Did you make sure that you did not clap on beat 3 because of the tie? Notice curved lines can mean a slur if they're over multiple different notes. If it's 2 of the exact same note, that's a tie. You have to hold that down. Make sure you just hold your hands together on beat 3, and that creates the syncopation we need for this piece. Start right here on measure 22 with beat 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we've got a long string of eighth notes. Then these rhythms are the same that we had in measures 22 and 23. That's why I didn't write them in, but be sure you practice them. Let's look at this syncopation up here. Again, when lots of things are happening on the ands, that's what makes syncopation. Notice the left hand has a nice steady quarter note rhythm, while the right hand is playing 1 and 2 and that creates a really fun sound. So let's practice this right hand rhythm. Count the beat out loud and clap the rhythm. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Let's try that one more time. Ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Great. And then I wanted to look down here at these rhythms. Here's another place we've got a very important syncopation in measure 36. Here we have notes on the beat, 1 and 2 and then here comes the syncopation, 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and. Left hand is a steady beat, right hand has the syncopation, 3 and 4 and. Let's clap the right hand part while we count the beat out loud for this measure. Here's 4 beats to get ready. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Notice once again we have a first and second ending. Now that we've looked at the rhythms, I'd like you to pause the video and on your own learn the right hand part from these 3 notes in the second ending all the way through this half note in measure 29. Learn the right hand part. Be sure to not just pay attention to the notes and rhythms, but also the fingerings, any accidentals. Pay attention to all those details. Pause to learn the right hand part on your own, then press play and we'll check it out together. Okay, here's the right hand part starting with the pickup to measure 22. So we're going to play these 3 notes, which are the pickup notes to measure 22 here. I'll count 1, 2, 3, and then we'll start on the end of 3. You're welcome to just listen or play along with me if you like. Here's the right hand part. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. Now let me pause to note that fingering 1 and 4 is a little unusual for a third, but it's because you had to use those 3 fingers on this little mini chromatic scale, right? Just going up by half steps. That's part of the chromatic scale that Joplin is using there. Okay, so 1 and 4 is really the best fingering to use there. One more time, same place. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and big stretches right there, right? 3, 2, 1, kind of like you're doing an arpeggio. So let your fingers spread a little bit, 3, 2, 1, then going on in measure 24, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. A big jump down there for your finger 1. We're getting to more advanced music where you're doing these bigger stretches, so just be ready. And again, follow the fingering. And then you might just want to move your hand because that's going to be a really big stretch. I suggest that most of the time, instead of a stretch, a big stretch, a move is better. Because look how much more relaxed your hand can be just by moving up versus trying to contort your hand to do that huge stretch of a 6. I mean, yes, technically, maybe you can do it if you have big hands like me. But even for big hands like me, I'm going to move my hand and not try and stretch my hand there in measure 25. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and going on 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Switch to a finger 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. Also a weird fingering, but it's because of this chromatic scale. We've used up 2, 3, 4, so we land on a 2, 5 for this syncopation in measure 28. 1 and 2 and 2 switches to F sharp, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, and now it's piano. And 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. And that's where I asked you to learn up into, but let me go on and show you what comes next and see what you notice. First of all, notice the dynamic change here. Do those notes sound familiar? Same notes, but now piano. And now here's another little change. It was the notes were identical up until this point that we land on that C, and now something new is coming. Rest. And notice that little finger 2 crossover. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... what do we have there? Do you recognize this? What chord is that? If you said C major, you're correct, but we've got this extra G on the bottom. You're going to play a little arpeggio there. 1, 2, 4, 5. Now you try. We go up the arpeggio and then right back down, holding that top note. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now you try. When you play arpeggios, remember to keep your wrist relaxed and let your fingers just float through those notes. You're going to spread your fingers, and the bigger the stretch, the flatter your fingers become. So they're not quite as curved as when you're like playing a scale. Your fingers stay nice and curved. When you play an arpeggio, they're going to flatten as they stretch a little bit. Now you try one more time. That's measure 35, and then going on, finger 3, 2 are going to cross over, 1 and 2 and then F becomes natural, 3 and 4. And notice we've got that 7th, quite a bit of dissonance on a 7th, right? Listen to the dissonance of that 7th, and then it resolves that dissonance by coming to a 6th, which is more consonant. Remember, dissonant has that tension, consonance has that more pleasing sound. And that's part of the spice of this song. 1 and, or 3 and 4 and. And then if we're doing the first ending, those 3 pickup notes take us back to measure 22. If we're doing the second ending, 1 and 2 and. Check out this chord. Can you tell me the name of this final chord? Notice it's a C major first inversion triad. Now, pause the video, and I'd like you to practice the right-hand part from the pickup to measure 30 all the way to the ending, including the first, and also try the second ending. Watch the fingerings, watch the rhythms, Please count out loud while you practice, and then press play, and we'll go on. Now let's check out the left-hand part for the B section. Notice the left hand starts on this bass C, and we've got this back and forth pattern. Oompa, 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 oompa. Kind of like the Oompa Loompas from Willy Wonka, right? And notice the fingering. I suggest a 3-1-5-1. And a 3 here will keep your finger 5 free for that low note. You could do 5-1-5-1-5, but that's a lot of moving your pinky back and forth. So I suggest 3-1-5-1. But I put that 5 in the parentheses underneath, just in case that feels better for you. 3-1-5-1 is what I like best. 1-5-1, then 2-1-2-1 to A flat. 3-1-5-1, 5-1, 5-1, 3-1, 3-4-5-2, 5-1. I'm calling out the finger numbers because they are so important. 1 and 2, step down. Whoops, 1, 2, 3, finger 1 comes under, and 3, 1, 5, 1, 3, 1, 5, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 5 up to B flat, and then we get these jaunty sounding chords. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, tell me the name of this chord for bonus points. What is the name of this chord? If you said C major second inversion, you're correct. Here's root position first inversion, second inversion, but we're down here. That's just a C major second inversion chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then what interval do you see here in measure 36? Can you tell me that? If you said a seventh, you're correct. It's the distance of 7 notes. It's just one short of an octave. If you're 1 away from an octave, you know you're a seventh. That's kind of a dissonant interval, just like we saw before. And then we go to a consonant interval. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then that takes us back to the repeat. If we were to do the second ending, we'd have boom, boom, boom. Wow, here's that pattern we've seen all the way back to our Baroque pieces. Joplin is still using it. This pattern is just everywhere in music. Fourth on top of a fifth, just such a strong pattern for an accompaniment. Now, pause the video and work on the left-hand part from measure 22 at the start of our B section to the end, then press play to go on. Now, you know all the notes for the B section. It's time to practice. For the next couple of days, work hands alone in the B section, counting out loud, using the metronome, and when you're ready, very slowly put it hands together. And don't forget to watch the articulations. Left hand is staccato, while the right hand is legato most of the time. Kind of like patting your head and rubbing your stomach to play staccato in one hand, legato in the other, but with slow practice. You can master this and gradually increase the speed as you're ready. And in our next lesson, we'll look at how to play it with artistry to make it sound amazing. Great job getting started with the B section of The Entertainer today. Thanks for watching and learning with me, and happy practicing. I like this ragtime music. Me too. But one thing, I don't get why it's called ragtime music. Ragtime? That makes me think of like a dirty, limp rag. It's not talking about a wet dish rag, silly. Music historians believe the term ragtime came from the fact that the music has lots of syncopations, which have a kind of ragged, unexpected feel. Well, to me, the rhythms don't feel that ragged or unexpected. They just feel cool. That's because you've been hearing syncopations your whole life. Syncopations are used everywhere, in pop, rock, and jazz. And we have ragtime music to thank for that. Back in its day, these kinds of rhythms were revolutionary and unique. Wow! You mean Scott Joplin single-handedly changed the history of all music?
Well, yes, he certainly helped.
Wow! I want to make up a new kind of music and change history too.
Well, sure, why not? What exactly did you have in mind?
It's going to be a revolutionary new kind of music called snorkel time.
Snorkel time?
Yes, it's going to use the rare time signature of 11/8, and the music will sound like you're underwater.
Okay, can I hear it?
Well, I haven't worked out the details yet.
Okay, well, let me know when you do.
Will do. I bet Monkey will help me with snorkel time. Hey, Monkey, want to help me make a new kind of music?
Woohoo!
No, we're not calling it monkey time. I thought of snorkel time first.
Woohoo!